Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into some seriously eye-opening travel data from Travul.org to uncover exactly how Nigerian travelers are completely bypassing the soaring flight costs to the UK in 2026. If you or maybe someone you know has been checking ticket prices recently, you absolutely know the kind of sticker shock we're talking about. It has been a wild year for airfare, but the data we're unpacking today proves that there is in fact a strategic way out.
So let's kick things off with a pretty simple yet highly provocative question. What if you just didn't have to pay those outrageous fares everyone else is getting hit with this year? What if you could literally cut that cost in half just by knowing a few things the rest of the market doesn't?
I mean, right now, peak travel months are seeing massive, undeniable spikes. Because of unprecedented demand, some standard return tickets are hitting an unbelievable 2.2 million naira. That is a staggering number for a round trip, and honestly, it's pricing a lot of people entirely out of their plans, whether they're traveling for tourism, education, business, or relocation.
But here's where it gets interesting. The source data shows a completely different reality for travelers in the know. While regular peak prices are hovering dangerously between 1.5 and 2.2 million naira, smart flyers are quietly securing flights for as low as 650,000 naira to 780,000 naira. That is a real game changer. And they aren't doing this by getting lucky. They're doing it by understanding the hidden structural mechanics of how airlines actually price their seats.
Moving right along to our first key topic, the 2026 flight problem.
According to the data, 2026 is just built differently than previous years. We are seeing more Nigerians traveling than ever before. Now, because airlines operate on these dynamic pricing algorithms, this massive surge in demand forces them to hike up peak season fares incredibly fast. It's a textbook case of supply and demand, and right now, demand during those popular travel windows is completely off the charts.
Next up, let's look at unpacking airline pricing seasons.
To actually beat these astronomical prices, you've got to understand a little industry secret called the shoulder season. If you haven't heard that term before, it's basically a specific travel window sitting perfectly between the chaotic peak season and the totally dead off-peak season. During these specific weeks, airlines are desperate to maintain their passenger volume. They have planes to fly, and they need them full, so they dramatically slash prices just to fill those empty seats.
The May 2026 market data illustrates this brilliantly. It's like stepping off a cliff. You go from that massive peak of 2.2 million naira in July, August, or December, straight down to a 780,000 naira low season average. That shoulder season sits right in the middle at around 1.1 million naira. That gap isn't just a fun statistic. That is literally cold, hard cash kept in your own pocket if you time things right.
Which brings us to arguably the most crucial section of the entire report, the November advantage.
The absolute secret month for the lowest prices in 2026 is, officially, November. If you take away only one single piece of information from our explainer today, let it be this exact month.
But why November, right? Well, it happens because November sits perfectly in a calendar dead zone. Think about it. The heavy post-summer demand has completely dropped off, and that massive chaotic Christmas rush hasn't quite started yet. Because of this perfectly timed lull, airlines suddenly find themselves scrambling to fill empty planes. And their desperation for passengers? That translates directly into a massive discount for you.
The contrast here between adjacent months is just wild. While December prices are already surging past 1.6 million naira, November remains incredibly low, averaging between 650,000 and 820,000 naira. Sure, there are a few runner-up months like February, May, June, and October that offer decent shoulder season rates, but November totally stands alone as the undisputed champion of affordability this year.
Okay, knowing the when is only half the battle. Let's dive into smart traveler booking strategies.
So, how do we actually pull this off? The data suggests a highly tactical timeline for 2026. To hit the absolute sweet spot on pricing, step 1 is booking exactly 6 to 8 weeks ahead of your departure date. Don't jump the gun and book too early, but definitely don't wait too long. Step 2 is choosing midweek departure days, specifically a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Airlines almost always price weekend flights at a premium because, well, that's when everyone wants to fly. Shifting your departure by just a couple of days unlocks maximum savings.
On top of that, flexibility is your absolute best friend here. Being open to shifting your dates can heavily impact your final ticket price. You might also want to explore multi-city routes, like flying into London but returning via a completely different, cheaper route.
And here's a totally fascinating pro tip straight from the data. Sometimes, booking your return flight first can actually lower your total cost. It's all about letting the pricing algorithm work for you, instead of against you.
Moving to our final section, how travel offers support.
According to the source publication, the Travul platform actually provides a whole suite of solutions to help travelers execute these exact strategies without doing all the heavy lifting. They offer 24/7 price drop alerts, pre-negotiated airline rates, visa and proof of funds support, and crucially, payment plans in Naira. That last point is a really big deal for Nigerian travelers, as it helps completely bypass the stress and unpredictability of dollar exchange rates.
If you want to actively put this data to work, the source points straight to their website at Travul.org, or you can call or WhatsApp their Lagos office at +234 705 404 7448. They highly recommend using these contacts to start setting up those November price alerts right away, before those prime shoulder season seats get snapped up.
They actually wrap up their market update with a pretty confident sign-off stating, "Travel with Travul. See you in London." It's a statement that really sums up their focus on getting Nigerians to the UK affordably this year.
So as you map out that 2026 UK trip, this data leaves us with one major final question about how you're going to spend your travel budget. Are you going to pay the peak price penalty like the vast majority of travelers out there, or will you use this data to fly smart this November? The choice is totally yours. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this breakdown helps you make the best, most informed decision possible for your upcoming travels. Safe flying!